Make sure I don't fuck it up from that.
All right. Welcome to WAFC Rewind Round 2. Tonight we have our DC Swing Vote versus Bay Area Cows U20 Mixed Finals from 2015. With us today we have Rachel Hess and Joe Fruend from the 2015 Swing Vote. And we have Jasper from the 2015 Bay Area Cows team. I'll have them introduce themselves.
I am Rachel. I played for the 2015 Swing Vote team, and I'm currently in Eugene, Oregon.
I'm Joe. I play for the 2015 Swing Vote team. I played for Virginia Tech, and then I play for Truck Stop now, and I'm home in Arlington, Virginia right now.
Hi, I'm Jasper. Played on the 2015 Happy Cows, and I'm in the Bay.
Let's get to it.
All right, Brad, let's go for it.
Point one.
Oh, this is crazy.
I think that's Hunter with the Frisbee.
Yes, because he has this flick pole that
Yeah.
he puts up. That somehow
Was that
works.
a common thing
Dude,
that you
the
would
wildest
do?
full field flick pole.
I don't know if it was common or if it was like approved by the coaches, but
We literally hadn't seen it all tournament.
Just
I've
at
never
this
seen
point,
him do
it's
that
like
before.
time to break it out.
It's
Wow.
crunch time.
somehow it works.
All right.
I noticed that.
Where's
You
the
have to
other
look
people
for it.
on this line?
This is the pregame screen of the field.
Mhm. So that big old muddy patch in the middle.
Yep.
Only the
Get
best
bigger.
fields for YCCs.
So can y'all tell us a bit about the culture of your YCC teams in 2015? What was the DC Swing Vote team like?
We were definitely, like, we formed our team with the intention of going to Minnesota to win. So we trained all summer with that in mind, with finals in mind.
Yeah, I remember 2014, we fell short of where we wanted to be. And so I think that obviously starting the 2015 season, the biggest motivator for us was working our butts off all summer to make sure we could go as far as we can as a team. But also we had a ton of talks about spirit and about the team we wanted to be remembered as.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's funny. Our goal was also to come in and win, because given we had lost in the finals before. Year before, we had a lot of returners. A lot of people would have their first year of college. So also that hard work, catching passes, running hard.
Yeah. So there we got an unfortunate first drop.
Oh, yeah, catching passes there, but I'm sure we'll be fine.
The first of many. Oh,
Oh,
big score.
And
too soon.
That's the craziest thing is, like, a lot of times we just our offensive end zone sets were just ISOs from the front. And I don't think we had many plays after that. It was like ISO in the front. If it doesn't work, dump it, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. It's the three handlers and everyone else just get out of the way unless you need a bailout throw and then find Joe in the back of the end zone.
It is so crazy to see us all, 5 years ago?
Right? We look so young, so youthful.
So youthful. That's one way of putting it. Oh, and those jerseys were sick. I still remember. I still have, I believe, Ian Sweeney's.
Oh, yeah, the Happy Cows jersey.
The Happy Cows jersey, yeah.
I still regret not
sending
trading
it
for
deep.
Oh, big boy, Matt Cullum.
He definitely did not. Good defense. He was a great defender, though.
Great defender. So Matt Cullum was the recruit from Georgetown. He had never played Frisbee. I think that was his first year playing, and he just picked it up in college. And then our coach recruited him to play.
This is Anders Youngst with the disc, and he was the offensive player of the year this year, I believe.
Wow.
Oh,
that's
there
a
we
Joe
go,
Fruend
Dylan.
duck that
Yeah,
did not
nice.
work
Gone
out.
back.
You'll see a lot of those in the future.
yeah, you were a little trigger happy.
Yeah, that didn't turn down for multiple years. Many years.
Oh,
Ooh.
that's such a good
Oof.
play.
Almost slaughter.
That's Michelle Slaughter, I think. She was also a Callahan nominee this year.
Yes, yeah, UCSC, I believe. Maybe not the most heralded program, but bringing it up to new heights.
Yeah, she's badass.
It is crazy how many amazing players have come out of both of these teams. You see them all over the country now.
Very true, very true.
Oh, some interesting cutting there. Around to
Sometimes
Biscuit.
as a cutter, you need to cut all the way into the handler lane to
to gotta show them you're there, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes handlers, just a little blind spot. They don't see you.
Oof.
Oh. That was Amy Buck with the throwaway.
Yeah. It is, yeah, we definitely had more drops in this game than necessary. It was definitely wet, I remember, and I think nerves are pretty high.
Yeah.
It being a finals game and all.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Another trigger happy huck. This one I think works out a little better.
Oh man,
done,
clean third,
Joe.
no problem. Yeah.
Had a big receiver, worked out well.
Big receiver in
Cullen
space,
as
put it
well.
up.
I do believe that was part of our game plan.
Oh, do
Yeah.
tell.
I don't think small ball offense was not what we were going for. I don't believe.
And the commentators in this game talk about you, Joe, a lot, and saying that is your offense. Was that the swing vote offense at the time? Was to hit the big guys in the backfield?
Yeah, more or
Off the pole
less.
play.
Off the pole plays, especially. I think especially when we were having more turns backfield than we wanted, our bailout was to throw it deep and see what happens, and see if we'd get lucky.
Oh.
And that is crazy. That's Colby Chuck,
Yes, Colby.
who has a great kid, great guy. Played with him now for years, but it's just so funny to see where it all started.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you don't need to jump. You can just
You should run it out.
let the other guy flop around like a fish and catch the goal.
That was Hunter Shoemaker on the attempt for the D, and he now plays for, I believe, just graduated, but played for NC
Just
State.
graduated.
Yeah, just graduated, played for
wow.
NC State.
So this was pretty much my role on the team, just catching the pole and then working it up the field and not turning it over.
Oh, that's
Wow, but
oof.
O-line on you said you only played for 1 year before.
Yeah. I just made good decisions, I think, as opposed to Joe.
Yes, we didn't love all of them. We had a really good handler core, as I remember.
Yeah.
Not even handler core, just young crowd. Our young players were really stellar and came up into some amazing players now.
I think our O-line was Gus,
Mm-hmm.
Ted, and then me in the backfield, and then Sean sometimes.
John McSweeney
Ted
sometimes.
got injured before the week before this tournament.
Yeah.
He and some other people who shall remain nameless went to a trampoline place, and Ted horribly injured his back.
Good times.
Oh,
Good times. We gave him crap for that for quite a while.
Yeah, he was definitely just popping Advils the whole tournament.
Oh, yeah.
He would kind of
And
just
here you got
hop in
the
for a couple points now and then.
both Jung siblings on the sideline who are now at UNC, and both powerhouses in their own right, which is pretty crazy. We had both of them on the same line back in the day.
Oh, wow.
I think they were actually the first sibling pair to win YCC's.
I love watching that. I'm so sorry. Oh, sorry, not.
Oh,
Oh, Joe.
God.
Interesting.
Oh, God.
Perhaps you want to speak to that more.
No, I love watching myself just slip out from under me.
Mm-hmm.
The injury, I do not love to see. That's not good.
Good clarification. Good save.
All right.
That's on the record.
So it's just a coincidence that you ended up behind him.
Because if you replay it, yeah, it looks like my feet just there's nothing under them.
I don't know if you want to replay it, man. I don't know if you want to.
We don't have to.
See the truth. All right, we gotta litigate
We
this.
have to know.
Look, well, it also skips, pretty crazily. But yeah,
That's such a rip from Gus.
it's like,
ooh, I don't know. He kind of cut into his lane there, doing Brendan dirty.
Oh.
I remember not feeling good about it, but yeah.
Oh, dude.
I remember going up for the jump and then just having nothing under my feet.
Well, I can say Brendan's okay now. I saw him at layout this year, so I don't know what happened in between those times, but he's definitely okay now.
We
And
like
still
that.
playing. Good.
Yep.
Then I got Ian Sweeney to come on.
Oh yes.
This is a matchup I think I faced for multiple years at YCCs. Definitely a lot in this game.
It's like a good one, honestly.
Oh yeah, it was he's an incredible player. Always had better throws than me.
Yeah, how good of a thrower he was
not
is
hard.
kind of annoying. Marking up in practice.
Absurd, especially
like,
at how young we were. He was a stellar thrower.
Caroline on the mark.
Hard to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Ooh, turn.
Yeah, just some tough turns from both sides.
No, definitely. It's a good thing we're not counting those.
Oh! Thank
Then
God.
Oh my God.
This is Kristen Herbert, who was a soccer player through and through. Basically just an athlete that we had converted to Frisbee like the year before, maybe. Hadn't been playing for very long at all.
And only like in pickup games. Like,
yeah,
never
like no organized
on a
play.
real team.
Wow.
And the anecdote about that, yeah, she played it up with us on 2014 as well. And at one point had tried to stop the pull by kicking it down, not realizing that was a turnover. So. That's a great catch.
Oh, there we go.
That's a great catch.
That's Michelle Slaughter again. We should have been doing that in the first place.
That's
here we go. Cowbell.
Yeah.
Bringing that one back. No, I actually kind of was embarrassed that as the parents or sideline was doing that. It was like, fuck, not the cowbell.
So your parents on the sideline had multiple cowbells that they would ring?
Not my parents per se. I don't know if there's anyone's parents
keep them out of this.
Happy
the
cow
fans,
parents.
the Happy Cows program brought cowbells could have led to our, stellar last place performance in Spirit Sports. Yeah,
so this was the zone that you were throwing though, right? This is that like junk it up zone that you all had.
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. I forgot the name. It wasn't Clam, but it was something else. Oh, he's coming back.
And then I believe, who was that? That's Rachel with the
Rachel,
That's
is that
me.
you?
Yeah, so I caught it, and then I think it was a strip, essentially.
Okay.
But I remember, I like vividly remember the guy who was on the mark who like made the foul. He was so nice about it. He was like, no contest immediately.
And see, those are the type of throws that I needed to stop throwing it immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes you never learn until it's too late. Oh, who is that? Is that Gus?
Yeah.
Gus Norbaum, like one of the best players I've played with to date now. He is just.
That's for sure.
Oh God, he's a terror to guard.
So saucy.
And I think it all started from here.
Oh.
That's such a good throw.
Is that Colby with it? Number 11, right?
I think that's Aaron Hom with the disc.
I think that's Colby. Yeah, Colby didn't have the arm
Aaron
sleeve.
Hom has the arm sleeve.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, that's on me. That's on me. Sorry, guys. I wasn't playing
Vicious
defense.
pick call there.
I believe there's that pick call.
Yeah. Defense never come naturally to me. All right, that's the right side. Good job.
Those inside throws killed us because I think you can see on that mark, we went no inside for the first couple seconds and then hard no around, thinking that you all would look dumb. But you all hit the front of the stack or like with those cheeky inside throws quite a bit, and we had trouble stopping that.
Yeah, we cannot.
Yeah, no need to look dumb when you can do what we just did there.
And you got those awesome inside throws.
True.
So that was always tough.
I think I remember when I watched this back, the commentators were saying like, "Oh, really sloppy end zone by Bay Area." And at the time, I was like, "Oh, how dare they!" But yeah, that was kind of bad.
I don't think the end zone was particularly pretty from either team this game.
Oh, there's Ted making his first.
So this was our big, like 1-2 pull play that we usually ran was 2 cutters and ISO and working off each other and have the rest side stacked.
Yeah, and then we would just fall out of it into vert. And so you're gonna see someone. Oh, that's a huge.
Oh yes.
That was such a good D. That was so. It's crazy. That was something we always were mesmerized about you, is how athletic your team was in terms of like the bids that you could make and the catches you, like the skies that you all had.
Yeah.
Was something that DC I think was still working on big time.
Dude, Gus is popping off. He's bid every time.
He was great. And that's Duncan. So that's the crazy one. Duncan Fitzgerald, in Oregon now.
That was a nice bid.
Star player at Oregon, yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Duncan, Ted, and Colby.
Yeah.
All
in Oregon now.
Yeah, graduating seniors.
It seems like, a lot of these were just like close throwaways or small overthrows or just like blatant drops. It seems like those, it's just, the nerves are definitely still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was the feeling like going into this game? What had happened before?
Well, so we had lost to Bay Area the day or 2 days before. I think maybe just a day before in pool play.
Yeah.
So we were like big time nervous.
Yeah, tension was very high on our side. Oh.
Did there. Yeah, we had just survived a closer than it should have been game against Minnesota, which we thought we can kind of walk away with it, but it didn't go quite that way. Oh my God. I remember seeing every time that happened, I would usually be like, God damn it. Excellent use of the body. An excellent bid there by Jeremy. That's what I like to see.
That's like one of my favorite bits ever.
That close.
I hope everyone on the stream saw that.
I love Jeremy so much. Just like
I mean, hey, if you do that and the guy drops it, you're a hero. So
it's also crazy how good he is. I remember playing with him throughout the years to come, and he was just stellar thrower, crazy athlete.
Yeah, always level head.
Yeah, just so calm throughout all the entire game. What we got?
All right, we have a little deep host stack going. Let's see.
Yeah, we poached. I don't know if it's an intentional poach. We poached a lot this game.
Oh.
Well, who are the coaches for each team? What were they like?
So our coaches were Ben Fang and Cody Johnson, and they both played for Truck Stop at the time. And were also both involved in like the youth high school Frisbee and middle school Frisbee as coaches. So they really put together like kind of a machine of an offense that we would run.
Yeah, they had theoretically every option weighed out for it. Whether we followed it or not is another thing, but
yeah.
Can we send that back? Can we rewind that?
Yeah, that's a pretty insane throw.
That Michael Shu throw?
Yeah. Will Shu,
excuse me.
Yeah. With just a crazy around backhand blade to the far side.
Yeah, just like we drew it up.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of backhand blades.
No, that was...
I think that's one of those throws that Ben Fang would not have approved of.
But if it works, it works.
Yeah, he's rushing the field right now. He looks very pleased.
Yeah, but the coaches were, Ben Fang and Cody were awesome. They were also heavily involved in the youth community, so a lot of us knew them pretty well before they were our coaches for YCCs.
And what was the youth community like at the time? 5 years ago, different era.
So this year, the only way to play women's frisbee for someone my age was to go to HB and like join that team. There were no other women's teams, not at WNL or Yorktown or really anywhere. So I had played with HB. I just picked up with them at a couple tournaments, but that was the only way that I was really able to play. And then kind of evolved the next year. So after this summer, we started a joint Yorktown Washington Lee women's team for the first time. But before that, it had really been all the schools in the area coming together to make just one giant team.
And was that what YHB was?
Yeah. I was never YHB.
YHB split up after my freshman year. And everyone was pretty angered by the decision, but realizing looking back, it was one of the best decisions we made because a lot of other programs were started up because of that split. And just seeing how far the youth community has come, at least in the DC area, from where we are here, which is having the capability of having one mixed team and that's it, to now having a team in every division at YCC is pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Dime ball. Who threw that? Was that
Sean McSweeney? Yeah.
Wow.
Who Chicago graduate. Yeah, pretty incredible backhand throw there.
Super dump.
So this is interesting. There was a timeout call, but there was a call on the throw before that, and it actually works in swing vote's favor.
Yeah, that's interesting. And notably, the observers were not supposed to get involved, really. The only way that they were supposed to be involved was just like offering the rule. If we had a question about rules, they would just explain the rules, but they couldn't make any kind of ruling.
They were called something else, right?
Right.
They were called instructional observers.
Instructional.
That's what it was, instructional observers.
And throughout the game, I don't know if this happened for Happy Cows as well. It seemed throughout the game they stepped into situations more than we were expecting.
Yes. Yeah, our head coach, Jeff Geoff, didn't
Jeff
like
loves
that.
corgis.
Yeah, it seems like, especially in some of the calls, they would step in and interject their comments before the players had a chance to talk it out, which is interesting because I think as swing vote in huddles before games, we had talked about specifically that.
Very good, Ian.
Yeah, that was also props to him. That's a safe play and able to get out of the way before a collision occurred.
Yes, he did not bid straight into the upline cut,
which is very, very good because that's you see that a lot nowadays.
That's how I got my really bad concussion
Ooh.
last year.
Doing the bidding or getting bid into?
Getting bid into from behind, from a poach.
Oof.
Yeah.
But now you see the offense looks a lot cleaner. You see actual cuts to space and everything looks like it's clean. I think the nerves are wearing off a little bit because everything looks much cleaner now.
I think so, yeah. People are making longer cuts in real.
Yeah, or at least the decision making
up until that point,
the decision making overall looks better.
It's stall 9. You gotta put it up.
Yeah, of course.
We can tell it's starting to rain. They're trying to wipe off the camera. They eventually put an umbrella over it.
Yes, it gets a little fuzzy.
Right there, spirit of the game is alive. Just immediately put the disc down.
Yep, that hit the dirt.
we got Ben Fang in the group chat saying sorry started late, but now Joe's decisions were terrible. Rachel's decisions were great. Good times.
And a reference to India and George.
Yeah, India and George Stubbs won YCCs with Atlanta in 2007.
Oh, they were the other sibling.
Yes. So yeah, the Younks and then George and India Stubbs.
The Stubbses.
Which is I was actually coached by George Stubbs later after this tournament.
Oh my God, I was coached by India at Nutsy.
There you go.
Small world.
Is this different than the Stubbs in Oregon? There's a Stubbs who went to U of O.
Is there?
I believe different.
Must be.
Oof. See, that's a tough one.
Miscommunication. Wow.
See, this is why Gus has phenomenal decision making.
Yeah.
It was one of the chillier players on our team.
Oh, and then
Wow.
actually that looks pretty
I
good.
just should stop commenting.
Oh, never mind. Well done, Dylan. Excellent read.
I don't need it.
If you threw it like 20 yards further, then actually
Yes.
I think it would have been on the money.
That was great
Honestly,
defense though, to read that almost before the throw it up.
dude, and that's a good person to just toss it up to. If there's anyone who could sky a 6-foot person, Ellie Young. Oh, Ted.
That's funny. Ted said he was injured during this game and he couldn't play. Interesting, Ted.
What's the truth? What's the truth?
Yeah, kind of pulled a Scottie Pippen, medicate yourself between points kind of situation.
So are the Bay Area coaches wearing blue? Is that what I see, Jasper? Can you tell us about your coaches and your youth?
Yeah, we had
scene?
head coach Geoff. We had Caitlin and Rio. It was kind of like we had the fire from Geoff and the ice from everyone else. Because he was all about that kind of intensity and, we're gonna destroy everybody else. And that was really, what we needed because no one on the team was like super aggressive, I would say. So very much a combination of some of those younger kids who had really built up their kind of disc skills and all of that, and a lot of kind of older first-year college players who are a little more rougher around the edges, such as myself.
And I don't think we've talked about that enough, that at this point in YCCs, it was U19, but also you could have still played college, at least 1 year of college, and still play YCCs.
Yeah, so if you had an August birthday as a college freshman, you could still play.
Yes, I believe we had at least 6 players, maybe more, that fit that requirement. Me, one of them, it felt great. I was just like, wow, I'm so fast. This is amazing. I'm just running around against children, but it was a good time.
The athleticism disparity is pretty crazy at this. Back when first-year college grads were allowed, but also you had like freshmen and sophomores from high school playing.
And like Ellie Youngst was what, 13?
13 or 14.
14.
Yeah.
She's just small.
Pretty crazy.
A lot of our women actually were much younger, but
I think our youngest
Lauren
player was actually Kat Sands, who was probably 14 at the time, and then went up from there.
She might have actually been 13.
She might have been. We had a very young crew.
The commentators at this point are worried about Thunder. It's pretty slippery. They're wondering if USAU is going to call it. What was it like on the field?
Very slippery. You can tell Duncan just dropped the disc in the end zone.
Yeah, it definitely, I know I just said it got cleaner, but it definitely worsened really quickly. The rain started coming down and everything started dropping. Cuts weren't as clean. People were slipping.
Yeah.
And then there's always a thought in the back of your head. It's like, what happens if this game stops? Like, where do we go from there?
Oh, that's the only layout D attempt I've ever made, I think.
Yet. So far, at least.
Ever. That's career total.
Career high. 1. Oh!
That's a crazy toe.
Was that you, Jasper?
That was me. And that is also me right there.
We don't talk about that part. We don't talk about that.
Yeah, and looking up the past rosters, I saw I tied for second in turns on the team as a cutter on the D line. So, it says a lot about what I did with the disc.
Yeah, so there you can see when we DC started getting a little frantic. If we had a couple turns on a point, we would start overly looking deep. And I think at times it was good, and at times it was pretty detrimental, where we would just get tunnel vision downfield and see what we could get out of it. And it didn't always work out very well.
Seems like you weren't the only team doing that.
No, yeah. I think that was a very youth-minded technique.
Youth-minded.
Yeah, see what that's what I'm gonna call it.
Not the worst strategy. It's worked out before, even in club.
Hey, we got there eventually, right?
Yeah, so you're already there at the end zone. It's not bad.
Tough turn.
Yeah, I think you see a lot of the turns coming from just kind of inexperience and not quite knowing where all of our teammates are going to be.
Oh, we're actually matched up.
That's 2.
Oh, there we go.
That's 2, you guys.
You liar.
Count it.
All right, well, I'm still 0 for 2.
And this is a long point too.
This is a marathon point.
This is like not a quick one.
What was that? Was
I remember
that an
actually
official
me and the guy
timeout,
on the side, Bailey, we were saying, okay, whoever Joe is not guarding is just going to go deep. That was our plan.
Oh, God.
That's crazy.
Oh,
That's
wow.
so crazy.
Was that you too, Jasper? That jump,
That
I
was
think?
me.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I wasn't getting up for that one.
Oh, there's the umbrella.
Someone else can do it.
Yeah, we had a nice umbrella come into the screen trying to keep the recording going.
I'm honestly touched that Ulti World did the most to stream this game.
They cared that much about us.
Yeah, they risked someone being struck by lightning.
Sure.
And we
the scaffolding.
We definitely didn't stop this as early as a lot of people thought we should have.
Yeah.
I remember thunder and lightning or at least a lot of thunder had occurred while we were playing, and everyone's kind of looking around like, do we keep going?
No one hears that.
No one hears it. It's fine. Especially in the finals of a youth game, all of us were just like, no, we're good to go.
So I noticed in this point, Joe, you come back to handle. Jasper, what was the Bay Area doing to stop Joe's deep game? Or DC's
I
deep
think
game?
it was, try to make him throw the disc as much.
It's a good
At a
strategy.
very rough assessment, it was like, okay, they have 2 really large dudes. It's Joe and is it Matt Collin, and just make them throw. Let's see. It panned out reasonably okay.
Yeah, I think after the first couple hucks that went up to me, you all started backing pretty aggressively or playing that zone. And I think it was really effective because I would come back to handle.
You come back as the 4th side handler.
Yeah, as a side handler. And my job essentially after a turn or 2 was, hey, just swing it back and forth. Like we don't need to be doing much else. So it really limited my options.
Wow.
Oh, man.
See, that's just a great throw.
That was
from
insane.
Duncan. Yeah, that's just a crazy good throw.
Through the cup.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
Coming
crazy
down hard.
It was raining really
Really
heavily. I also remember I don't know if you remember those jerseys that we had were like, I don't know who they were from. I'm not gonna
Disc
trash. Let's say some company, let's say Disc Store. And once they got soaked, it was so heavy.
It was over.
It was like running in like wet towels. It was crazy. I'm
I
sure
remember
Disc
that
Store
from
has
the
improved
early
now.
5 Ultimate era. Those were
Yeah.
also heavy. And the shorts.
Yeah, with those hydro shorts,
The
just those,
hydro
like
shorts.
those material that when it got wet just didn't dry.
Yeah.
I didn't understand those.
Yeah, the Tritons were a huge come about. But yeah, I just remember everything just felt awful.
And Rachel, do you play in a lot of rain now that you're out in Oregon?
Oh yeah, it's a different kind of rain though than DC summer rain or Minnesota summer rain. It's just constant, but not that strong.
A little colder.
That's a great throw.
Not
Wow.
really.
Throw by
It's not
Colby.
that cold.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it doesn't really drop below freezing ever. We play outside all year.
Yeah. I mean, this is basically when I went to Virginia Tech, what Blacksburg turned into for 4 years. It was just that cold, damp rain. Great to play Ultimate in, I tell you.
Yeah.
Looks like something's happening. Some officials are coming on the field.
So is this I believe this might be the
It might be
delay.
halftime, actually.
Halftime. Yeah, because I believe the games were the 13. Oh, wow.
Oh, Bay Area took half.
Time is
Let's
passed.
pause
Time
for a
is passed.
second. What just happened?
So I believe it looks like, Bay Area took half, and then we had a whole powwow in the next hour because there was a lightning delay.
Huge lightning delay. It was actually like a 2-hour lightning delay.
It was crazy, and we didn't know if we were going to be able to play again or what. It was basically every half an hour we just would wait and see what happens. So we ended up in the vans for 30 minutes or whatever, and then we went to
Super Target.
Super Target with, and this is the greatest part. We went to the Super Target with the Happy Cows team, and then back to their hotel and hung out with them for another hour and a half while the delay was going on. So it was really cool to be able to play a game in a competitive atmosphere on the field with a team, and then in the middle of that game, go be friends and hang out and like have a great time playing board games and whatnot with the opponent in a hotel because you had nothing else to do.
We had a very long halftime break for some.
Did you say you guys went to the pool and hung out at the pool in between? During the
we took a giant group photo of all of us.
Outside the pool.
Outside the pool. We did not get in the pool. Yeah.
The coaches allowed you to go swimming.
The coaches would have been probably very upset.
We all played board games and card games and whatnot in the hotel for an hour.
Yeah, that was so dope, honestly, and it really just gave us a opportunity to kind of like humanize each other and not like see each other as the enemy. And actually, I think a few months after this, one of the seniors, Colby, on Happy Cows, senior in high school, he decided to, for his senior project, to like organize a couple teams of Swing Vote and Happy Cows together to go to a college tournament and play.
Called Swing Cows.
Swing Cows, yeah. And so I was actually coached by Jeff and Caitlin at this college tournament while I was playing with Lauren, Chloe, Hannah Wells, and a bunch of other Happy Cows. It was really such a cool opportunity.
Yeah, I think the bond between these two teams is pretty special. Even now, there are so many friendships that formed through the couple years that we played against each other at YCCs.
Yeah. And we see each other all the time. I think that's an
the overlap is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, it is wild.
Through tournaments, throughout college, through Worlds teams, etc. It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Swing Cows actually made up like a third of the U20 team the year that I played.
Yeah.
But we will film it if they come, and if they don't, we'll try to maybe get some Periscope or something over there.
So how was Happy Cows feeling coming into the second half?
I think there was a talk about whether we wanted to just say, all right, the game's done, we won, kind of at half. Like if the game was canceled right now, how would everyone feel about it? Everyone wanted to play it out though. I don't think almost anyone said, we just want to walk away with this halftime victory. We had actually tried to come out to the fields before this initial time to, get used to the rain, and then we got called back. It's like, what are you doing? Get off the field. Like there's still lightning and thunder. So we were pretty amped up for this half to really kind of take it to these DC swing voters. But
yeah, I remember even in our warm-up time wasn't that long, I don't think, when we came back out. I'm pretty sure it was like a 10-15 minute, like, hey, get your legs under you, get out there.
Like 4-line drill, we're going out there.
Yeah, I don't think it was a very substantial re-warm-up time.
No. It was enough for me to accidentally slip in the giant mud pit in the middle of the field. Ruin my white jersey.
It's a layout.
It wasn't a layout?
Yeah, it was a fat bit.
The third missing layout. Layout DSM.
What's going on now? I think I slipped again and called a foul. This is what happened. Oh!
That's such an incredible
huge.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not clear whether or not Jasper Tom got a hand on that disc, but he did force at least a lapse in contact.
It's amazing, how much nicer it looks out here right now.
It looks like a different place.
It's a beautiful day.
It was the same day.
Yeah, first half didn't even happen. And I remember our team being very amped up to get back out and try to prove something, because being down at half, I at least for me, I had flashbacks of the day before where we had just lost to this team. And I'm pretty sure we're in a similar spot at this point.
That's nice.
Oh, that's a crazy
right there.
Thought he had that.
Who's that?
It's Connor Bauman.
Connor Bauman.
I remember he was a freak athlete at the time. I haven't seen him since then, but so we got Sean McSweeney picking up the disc, one of our key handlers. Me making, some ridiculous cut.
You got pretty open. That's pretty good.
And this is the issue that we kept having those days.
Amazing. I guess no call though, which is honestly pretty awesome because I don't think either of them were
how to play.
I don't think either of them had to play. I think I think both teams did a pretty good job of talking about what contact was acceptable, or at least talking about what was going on on the field, about what was acceptable and what wasn't. In terms of contact.
It's always a tough argument to say, I don't actually think you were athletic enough to make that play. So I did foul you, but there's no way you're catching that. It's tough.
Yeah.
No, the Delmar, who was the person on that deep cut, was also one of the most spirited people we had on the team that year.
Oh, he was such a sweetheart.
What did your teams do in terms of spirit of the game? Did you do any preparation, talking about rules, spirit of the game going into the tournament?
Trying to think. There may have been some sort of quiz. I probably failed it. I don't really remember. Like as far as like knowing the rules, I think GF got mad at us for not knowing the rules in some instance, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, Rachel, if you want to comment on that, I think we might have had some huddles and some talks about it.
I honestly
it's
can't
been so
remember.
long. Yeah.
It's been I know we had like talks about when to call a pick and like what contact was. I remember we talked about like when to call contact. Or what is it? Disc space contact? It's the one where someone bumps you and you say like contact and automatically goes back to 0.
Contact.
Yeah, contact. You had it from the start.
You can see that we have all read the rules.
I really struggle with the rules.
Oh, wow.
But
there it is.
Fine.
And this,
You're so dirty, Rachel.
I know.
What was the
like
call on this one? What was the call here?
I think the observer or the fake observer
like
is tapping his head.
Oh, interesting.
As stall?
That one is interesting.
Because it does seem like both teams make a number of calls. They know what calls they want to make, and they're resolved relatively, peacefully.
I think, it might have gotten a little bit more chippy. I think because I think this gets called again.
No, Michelle Slaughter.
She throws it, but I believe it comes back to where it was. I think
another call.
I think the stall was called again.
Oh wow!
I can't remember. Stall called again.
I think it was another stall call on the same throw. And I don't.
Oh, maybe not.
I don't know.
That happened the next year, though. It happened like 3 times in a row. Lauren Carruthers-Lisk was standing outside the end zone with the disc, and Ella was on the mark, and Ella stalled her like 4 times in a row, and then they finally scored.
So now we have it on our end zone line, working it across the field. And our vert stack doesn't look awful.
Oh, I'm telling you, we were like a machine. Joe.
Oh no.
That speaks too soon. No, I think the vert stack looked okay, but was vert stack kind of your go-to formation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We like drilled constantly the like flow of our offense. It was the 2 handlers back, dump handler up the line, and then front of stack comes back, and then back of the stack goes to the break side for a round.
Yeah.
And then we would just go back and forth across the field like that.
Yeah, because it was very rare that we would go into anything else besides vert after a pull play. So our pull play was usually the 3-2 into the center and working with those 2, and then flow into a vert stack if it didn't work out. And that occasionally that worked. Sometimes better than others.
Sometimes Joe just chucked it away.
Sometimes your boy had some bad decisions.
And field position is not a bad call, especially in youth. I remember my high school coach saying, all right, You're just
Very
not good enough to complete in cuts. We're just gonna have to huck it, guys.
So that is
Ouch,
one of the
but I guess so.
craziest bids that
Wait,
we
yeah,
had.
can you go back, Fred?
Go back.
Yeah.
Rewind.
That is one of the craziest bids that we had all tournament.
Oof.
Yeah.
How's that?
So yeah, if we look here, I'm on the mark. Gus is guarding the around. And just has an incredible awareness layout D on the end
Wow,
zone
he
line.
just turns and goes for it. Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Just amazing awareness.
He had his back turned and everything.
Yeah, pretty incredible.
So Jasper, you said you played in high school. How many high school teams were there in the Bay Area at the time? What was the youth scene like?
Yeah, there were like two dominant teams, Berkeley and Alameda, that like a lot of the players went and played YCCs. And then there's kind of like ragtag other teams where, do stuff like, 4-person cup within 10 yards and, get bageled by some team that comes in from like Seattle to our tournament. It's just kind of riffraff plus the establishment. That's sort of how I used to think about it. But we would all come together for this. So it was cool to be teammates with these people that I competed against before.
That's what's so awesome about YCCs. It's just like your whole year, like school year, you can never really play like super competitively unless you got lucky enough to have a really competitive high school team, which is super rare. But when everyone would come together, it's like purely just high level competition.
Yeah, I think being 5 years removed, you kind of forget how important all of this was.
Yeah.
Like looking like for me at least, like this was a highlight of the summer. Like this was what everyone looked forward to. This is like obviously like nationals for a club. And we spent our entire summers looking forward to this. Just the entire weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, we'll travel.
It's Durs. Probably accurate. Probably happened.
Nothing wrong with taking a couple extra steps.
Yeah.
Power position. Come
Extra
on.
steps.
Yeah, just stop me from going offline instead of just calling travel. I've always wanted to say that, but I've never had the nerves.
Never had the nerves.
You should.
Durs is also
Tell it
and
like
is
it
now like so quick. One of the really good, like we never had to worry about him getting open on resets.
Stall creeping up, but he able to find Carolyn Tornquist.
Oof.
Who's that with it now? Is that Duncan?
That's Duncan with Durs in the back, Anders Youngst in the backfield. Yeah.
And
we're just gonna, And I think sometimes we would look downfield for just too long and not commit to a dump, or if our reset cleared out, we wouldn't have our second option there quick enough. It's just absurd.
Wow, ballsy throw and
is that Colby again?
Grab.
Yeah.
That is him.
That kid was a flying machine.
Yeah, what a legend.
Fired up.
A silent legend.
A silent legend.
Both teams need to leave those things behind them and move forward. Mental toughness requires focus in this next moment.
Lots of legends on both teams. I think we had some Donovan and Callahan Award finalists on the field here.
Yeah, shout out Biscuit Boyle and Case Humes.
Yep.
Callahan and Donovan finalists respectively.
And you play now with Maddie at U of O?
Yeah, so Biscuit actually just graduated and left Eugene, which is really sad. But yeah, I may or may not have followed them out here intentionally because I love playing with them so much.
And so that was one of our typical pull plays, was the two clear out from the center deep and one big strike under from the sideline across the center. And it usually worked pretty well, whoever was in the back of that stack being backed. And that was probably our cleanest point of the game. Just working it up the field. And I think it showed how effective our offense was when we were spaced out effectively and we're making big undercuts and weren't crowding the disc. And when I didn't throw it away. Super effective.
Yeah. That'll throw a wrench in your plans.
It really will.
This is out to no one.
Okay, so coming down.
Yeah, you all have such good memory of your pull plays. I'm trying to think. Looks like we have a little host stack kind of weave going on. Oh, into a deep shot.
And all those bids are so close. And you can see we're nowhere near the disc on those. So if those are completed, that's a completely different ball game.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little extra caffeine, you know. I don't know if anyone was on the caffeine train at that time since we were all young, but Red Bull will give you
wings.
Oh, wings. Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Oh, should have had that one, Joe.
That's on me. You can't. You simply can't win them all.
Yeah, dude. Did you want to try to jump for that or let it go out of bounds?
You can see me even like almost go for it, and then decide not to make a fool of myself.
I mean, that one was flying out of. yes, Jeremy. Honestly, when anyone would bid like that, we would just get so fired up.
I think that's huge. I think we, as a team, we're not used. Like, I think Duncan was good at bidding at this point. Hunter was good at bidding at this point, and Durs a little bit. The rest of us weren't that type of athletic. Like, we weren't huge into bidding like that. I think that came around only later, and of course, I put up a huck to no one.
So it's definitely a bit of a huck fest. I think mostly guys touching the disc and throwing it to grass so far.
Yeah.
Yes, that was an issue that we had this year, especially in this game.
And the next year. I'm not still salty about it or whatever.
Rachel, what was it like being a female matching player on a U20 mixed team? This was your first YCCs?
Yeah, well, so at first I thought it was really, really fun. I mean, it's the highest level of competition I could have played at, and that made it really fun. I got so much better playing with people who were just better than me. But it was definitely an adjustment because I had played, like when I had played, I kind of just ran everything, or I could. I could just be the field commander, do whatever I wanted. But in this, I had to fit into a very, very specific role that was just move the disc to the big people who can throw it. And that's such a nice bid by Robin Anthony Peterson. She was also on the U20 team and the Swing Cows. Just a lovely person. But yeah, I think I preferred playing women's YCC because I could have a bigger role and not get outshined by other dudes.
Watching some of these is just it's so hard to watch.
Yeah. I think you have another one coming up, Joe.
No, let's not talk about it yet. Let's wait till we get there.
Oh, a preview.
That's
I think
good D.
Mental game is, if you ask my truck teammates, is still something that I am working on to this day.
The work never stops.
It never does. You wish it does, but it doesn't.
It don't.
Was there any mental game preparation going into this weekend, either from the team or the individual level?
I remember an hour before the game, we were cut off from any kind of social media, technology, everything. We just had to kind of get in our
zone. Off.
Yeah.
Like phones away, no, be with the team type thing. Yeah. And I do think that helped a lot. I think these teams, every year that I was there, had really incredible bonds because we spent so much time together. And I do think that transferred into on-field play.
Definitely.
You all had to sit with each other on the plane, is that right?
Yeah.
I do believe so.
I had to sit next to each other. What is that?
We had to. We were forced.
All Southwest and
back of the bus.
Back of the bus.
I think. Yeah, the cuts are all really solid cuts. I don't think we.
That would happen a lot. As a female in Frisbee, I get thrown over in the dump set so often, which was really frustrating.
Ooh.
But
is that more in mixed, you feel, or
definitely
in comparison? Okay.
Oh yeah, no, it doesn't happen in women's.
I would like to.
Joe, would you like to comment on that?
I didn't throw that one away, so. We're like 1 for 9 right now. That's pretty good. All right. We count that. Yeah, I
this
think
is our zone point.
that is definitely something we could have worked on quite a bit. Was our gender equity in terms of playing was not where it needed to be.
Yeah, I mean it's just tough when everyone on the team is that good, and yeah. I mean, it's like no one's fault,
hammer.
obviously.
That's a crazy throw.
Wow.
And clearly not something we had planned for.
Yeah, I guess that's how you beat a 4-person cup.
Yeah, we had some incredibly athletic women, and so our strategy was putting them in the cup and having them shut down a lot of those swing throws because they were like, we had some crazy athletes on the mark, and then putting our guys backfield, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I think here
it was offside.
Offsides, yeah.
Oh no!
Yeah, tell us how that rule works.
So there's an observer on either end zone, and if either team is offsides, they throw up one of these, and the other team signals back to confirm that it was offsides.
Yeah.
But if
and
you
to
don't
reset
back,
here, they're at midfield.
This was the second one.
I actually thought it was at the reverse brick, or at your own brick, was sort of what I thought, but
I think in 2015 it was midfield.
Oh, okay.
And confirm that we did not know. We were just like, all right.
Tell me where to go.
Some yards, we'll take them.
Oh, yeah. Gus was trying to avoid standing in the giant mud pit.
I do remember that because midfield is still not a pretty situation.
Because we are on soccer fields, so midfield is pretty busy in soccer.
Yes.
True.
It's true.
And so this is where our end zone set gets really nasty. And we don't, because we're in kind of that red zone, and we don't quite know if we're going from the front or the back. And it looks, as you can see right now, pretty jumbled. And I don't know if we clean it up or not. I guess we'll find out. Looks a little cleaner now.
Let's just calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
And as far as deep goes, honestly, it looks pretty good. Yeah, that's excellent.
And I think once we realized how far out we were, we transferred back into vert, and that's, for us, that was a lot easier than that transition stage.
What was that? Pick?
Another call.
It looked like, I think it was a foul on the catch, and then a pick in the back of the stack.
Okay.
Aggressive shot to the end zone.
Oh God.
And we had both Youngs back there. We're good to go. We're not worried.
Yeah, both of them could have got that one.
We're not worried. We're
nasty
okay.
Collision.
Yeah, well placed. Well placed throw.
15 minutes to the hard cap.
We still got the umbrella just in case the camera gets too sunny.
Critical break.
Joe, I feel like you're playing every point.
I think it was quite a few of them. And I don't know if
we did play really tight lines, I guess.
We played, especially this year, we played extremely tight lines. And that is just an incredible run.
Who threw that? Yo, Fred. Oh, no. I only see a couch. Fred is
AFK.
He's not with us. Oh, no, but that was an amazing throw.
That was an incredible throw, an incredible catch. Let's see who it was.
We're back.
And that's a full field huck.
I can't do who that is.
Wow.
Look at that. That's insane.
Who caught that?
I think it's Jeremy who caught it.
Jeremy, it looks like he's
keeping the toes in.
Yeah.
Toe
but we definitely, as a team, I remember the coaches called extremely tight lines, especially in the second half of this game towards the end.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were running 10, 12 players max.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think
did that happen?
Something that we also never did, which I thought we should have done more. I'd be interested to talk to Ben and Cody about why we didn't do this, but playing 4, like a different gender ratio, 4-3 or 3-4, because our females were just so talented.
We had an incredibly stacked female talent line. It was just absurd.
Yeah. And then we figured that out the next year, and we were like, fuck this mixed nonsense. Let's go play rogue.
And we also, that second year of or I guess 2016, we went 4-3 a lot more, I think, because we realized how incredible our talented women were, and just burning everyone was pretty crazy.
Yeah, very true.
But yeah, we did not do that enough this year.
Jasper Tom jumping in there, take away that swing pass.
And I think the rest of the weekend we were definitely we definitely played more open lines throughout the weekend, trying to get a lot of people touches and trying to figure out who worked well together. And I think this is just when it buckled down.
This is the only time really tighten things up.
I think so. I'm pretty sure the rest of the weekend was pretty open.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, those fakes.
Oh, spin move.
Oh, might have called a pick. Yeah, that's a good pick in the
Someone looks very open.
Probably my player.
Oh, and those,
Joe, that's great, D.
Those always killed me. You all had an ability to slide those discs in that we could not, like just tiny spaces, tiny windows. It was always so frustrating to feel like you were playing great defense and for them to stick with the discs.
Yeah.
That little dig cut where you kind of come inside of it. Yeah.
Just dig your shoulder through and just come right inside. Great cut. Yeah. And just slide that disc in there. Oh.
Yeah, and Ian's arms are like really long. So
yes. Oh my God. Those throws, his around throws. He's a lefty too, so it was just impossible to stop.
Wow. Triple threat.
Triple threat indeed.
All right, so I believe the game is to 13 now. And I was thinking this one might be in the books. It might be over, you know. Just got on the block on the last point. We just scored.
Yeah, I remember not feeling great about this right now.
I felt sick to my stomach. Oh.
Moving it pretty calmly through the zone, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is that? A 3-3-1, Jasper? Or a 2-3-2?
Yeah, I think this is it's kind of more of honestly a traditional kind of just cup, like a 3-3-1. That was a little
more spread out.
Yeah, in complement with the kind of clam thing we had, where we kind of allow those swings to both sides.
It also looks like you're kind of person on the sidelines and then a little more poachy in the middle.
Yeah.
It looks like you're staying closer to person in the backfield and on the sidelines.
I think we've gotten burned by some blades over the top, so it was like, all right, just got to match up in the backfield.
Yeah.
Let everyone else figure it out.
Oh, yes, he didn't throw the hammer.
All right, don't mess up, Joe.
I think at this point I'd calm down a little bit. I think I'd realize.
Yeah, you were like, okay, I need to get my shit together.
Yeah, I think I realized I had like 10 turns.
Woo!
Oh wow,
nice find.
That was wild.
I think there was a miscommunication there. We almost had like a small cup, like a 2v1.
It looked like, I think it was the transition, your transition from zone to person that was a little, because I don't think I had anyone guarding me on the sideline for a while.
I see. Okay. That did happen a couple times where we kind of mix up the match defense. Yeah.
All right, D.
And it looks like, we just came down person on this. No funny business.
Y'all are running fast for the end of the game. That 2-hour break must have helped.
It was crazy. It felt like you were starting a new game.
Yeah.
At least body-wise, yeah.
So weird. Just like a 5-hour final game.
Better than no final like 2019.
That is true.
It's true.
That was hard.
2019?
That was hard
to watch. Did they all get medals or what happened there?
They had co-champions. I believe they did, yeah. They canceled it all. They thought they might be able to come back.
It was a 3-way tie, I think, or something like that.
3-way tie. Oh, man.
And that's just an insane throw from whoever that was.
Oh, that worked?
Wow.
Yeah, I know, right? That's just like
unbelievable.
an insane throw from whoever it was.
Unbelievable. The high release backhand.
And then
Best
Duncan
throw in youth
comes up
ultimate.
behind for a nice,
God damn it.
easy backhand.
Duncan celebrated pretty hard after the first point of the game.
Yeah. He's a little dramatic.
And this is when it's all tied up.
Oh, dramatic, you say? Perhaps foreshadowing of something we're about
Oh,
to
dear. Who's excited for this point?
Oh, all right. I'm ready.
And I just remember the energy right now is pretty hectic.
Yeah, dude, at one point, Ben actually broke his clipboard in half. I think it might have been during this point.
Wow.
Because he was so stressed.
This was a lot of energy on this point, a lot of emotion. And everyone's thinking about the game from yesterday. Everyone's thinking about last year. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
What happened in
wow,
2014?
timeout too.
2014, we had huge expectations and just plopped. We got there. We had a great day one, and then day two, just like we had a great first game, and then everything just went downhill like crazy, and we couldn't seem to fix it. And it just ended up being super disappointing because our expectations were theoretically way higher than they should have been for never being at a high-level tournament as a team before.
Yeah.
What was your seeding like each year? That has always been slightly controversial of how to seed new or newish teams at YCCs.
I don't know. Rachel,
I think it wasn't as big of an issue. Currently, I think the way you're seeded can actually affect if you can even win the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like you can be seeded in a way where you can't even win, even if you win all your games. So this is before all that. So
I'm pretty sure our first year we came in, I don't think we were high in the seeding. I'm pretty sure we're almost last.
So this year in 2015, Swing Vote was seeded 4th and Happy Cows was seeded 2nd.
So this year coming in, yeah. Because I think we got 4th the year before. But
because
I
Oregon Flood won in 2014.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, that's who we lost to that year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I believe we were seeded decently coming into this tournament.
Yeah. I remember when I played Rogue my senior year, we were a new team that year, but we were all really good, and we got seeded very low, and we were concerned that we wouldn't be able to make it to the finals, but they switched it around.
Who is on this line? Let's see who we got.
Good point. Yeah, let's see. Looks like Ian fielded the pull up
Hunter,
to Aaron.
Anders, Duncan, you,
Kristen,
Maddie, Biscuit.
Yeah, Biscuit, and who's the last?
Caroline, I think.
CT, yeah. Caroline Turnquist.
Oh, good D.
Finally didn't squeeze it. And that was a huge turn for us.
Oh, no.
Yeah, talk about emotions now on this tournament right here.
Has been a while, many hours since they've had a lead after the long lightning delay.
And it's ironic because that was a very solid start to the offense. A really good clear swing in cut.
Yeah, just like we drew it up.
Pretty good.
Working it up the sideline.
Puts up the hammer. Not quite into the end zone.
Oh, wow, you're out of the goal line. Oh no.
Oh.
So this is the infamous point of ultimate in youth in 2015.
So is there a call? What's happening?
So
who wants to explain that? Rachel, you want it?
Yeah, double game point. Gus did a little elevator to Duncan in the end zone, and Duncan felt like he was pushed out of bounds by the defender. And so he called a foul because he thought that he could toe it in.
Do you want to rewind that?
Yeah, let's watch
commentators.
I think we have to. We have to.
It is
even a frame by frame may be necessary
let's
take a look at this.
So there's a hammer that goes across field. We like that.
That's a very impressive hammer with a lot of defenders over there. Interesting call.
And so the elevator goes up, and it looks like The idea was Duncan could have at least gotten a hand on the disc. And this is,
or greatest.
I think there was a lot of controversy, especially because the I don't think the instructional observer is watching this, but came over immediately and started giving advice. And I think a lot of people weren't too happy about that, including coaches on both sides. If I can remember correctly, a lot of the coaches weren't pleased that he came over immediately and started giving advice about his perspective and what he thought happened.
And also hard cap goes on during this.
During the
call and the
and I think we find that out on the field as we're talking what the rule is. Because we hear the horn and we don't all know the rule. Because we were young and naive. And yeah, we find out that this is the last. Next point wins, essentially.
On the line here with swing with the disc.
Yeah. So now Gus has the disc back on a contested foul call.
Yeah. Oh, Gus had such a great game. It is such a shame that.
And that's it.
That's how.
And Gus was just not happy at all for quite a while.
Yeah.
Shirts come off.
We were pretty ecstatic about this one.
Well, on the losing team, they were upset taking off the shirts.
Yeah. Such a weird way to end that game.
It was one of definitely an odd final ending. I believe
like
we have a spirit circle with Happy Cows after this all, if I'm not mistaken.
So, I think this is one of those tournaments though where you do a spirit circle every time, or am I remember that correctly?
Every time, or almost every time, or some sort of talk afterwards. Yeah. A very odd last point, especially because Gus had a phenomenal tournament. And he definitely thought about that one for a little bit.
Yeah.
Great player, really spirited guy. Love him to death if he's out there.
Is that how hard cap still wins? Now I'm gonna sound like I don't know the rules, but I thought it was finish the point, next point wins when the hard cap point horn blows.
Yeah,
when I run tournaments, it's when the hard cap point blows, you finish. Oh, but if it's tied, then next point wins. But it was okay. It was already tied.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
and you as teenagers maybe didn't have awareness that perhaps hard cap would go on that point.
I didn't even know.
No one knew.
I guarantee Ben Fang knew what time it was and when hard cap was going off, but none of us on the field knew about it.
Oh, Jenny just texted. Bad call. Bad call.
Whether or not the U19 boys teams are going to be interested in moving field. There's no way that we can move. We have too much gear.
That's such a tough call though. Like in crunch time, double game point, if you really thought that you could have towed it in.
Stay tuned on Twitter.
Like
I think
the call is
that's
yours.
true.
Yeah, I think she was talking about Duncan's call about whether he thought he could have a play on the disc. Because theoretically, Gus made the throw after it's out of his hands. It's not an issue. I think it's an incredibly difficult. I mean, it's a finals game and we're all really young, and I think that it was a really difficult situation to be in. And you don't love it looking back. And I don't think any of us really knew. I don't think any of us really talked about it on the field at the time. I don't think there was much conversation that was had. Not a great situation.
Who's initiating the hugs here? I'm not a hugger, so this is making me nervous. both teams.
I don't know. Yeah, you'd have to rewind it to see. But it just seemed like everyone was doing it, and I honestly was ready to just kind of high five and kind of go my own way. But can't be doing that when everyone else is hugging in front and behind of you in the line.
We do have a question from Jenny Faye about curious who Rachel and Joe really enjoyed playing with on swing that they didn't know beforehand.
Wait, what was the question?
Jenny asked, curious to who Rachel and Joe really enjoyed playing with on swing that they didn't know beforehand or didn't really know beforehand.
My favorite was Del Mar. I loved playing with Delmar.
Really
I
phenomenal.
think he goes to Wash U or just graduated from Wash U.
Yeah.
He was just so solid and threw to me all the time. There were a lot of people who would look off my cuts constantly.
Yeah.
But Delmar never did.
Yeah, he was. I honestly have to agree with you. He also like brought the team together because he was.
Totally.
It was a little cliquey at first because a lot of the kids we grew up knowing each other through middle school and high school and had played together before. And he was a little bit more of an outsider coming from DC that didn't know very much about. And he meshed with the team so well and kind of brought us all together and like showed us that we could mesh really well with kids that we hadn't played before on the field and off. And so, yeah, I would say Delmar was instrumental in bringing us to where we were that year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What about you, Jasper? Any players you hadn't known before that year? I guess you were a college player.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, our kind of high school team from Palo Alto High was kind of the team that always get beat up by all these different players. And you kind of get into it with a lot of these guys like, oh, come on. And then now you're teammates with them. So that was always kind of fun to see. Oh, it's so much more fun when we're on the same team, especially guys like, Ian. You kind of build those relationships that you didn't think of before because they were the enemy, which is maybe not the best mentality to have.
Coming together at YCCs.
I know it's also huge just for all the players that we've now played with over the years from the two teams. I think YCCs did a really good job of teaching us like how we could be so competitive on these in these games. And then now the number of players I've played with that were on Happy Cows that I've now played with on my team is pretty incredible. It's been awesome.
Yeah, same.
From college to club to Worlds teams.
Yes, just across the board, so many players now that we've now seen. I mean, yeah, Jasper and I we're in the same delegation at Worlds this past year. And 5 years ago, we're just didn't even know who each other was. So it's pretty awesome.
Any other questions from the crowd,
the peanut
Fred?
Gallery?
You're gonna
thumbs up. Just looking at the chat for the first time.
Oh yeah, really quickly, I'll address Ryan Hardy. I am not checking myself out on the Zoom. I have self-view hidden, just for your information. I only saw that now. I would have addressed it earlier, but it
was a pretty good comment section.
And a number of folks wanted to hear about your skis, Joe, but I know that you have a separate channel to promote those.
We don't need to get into that now.
Shout out
Joe Fruend fan club can wait.
Well, thanks to you all for joining us. And thanks for everyone for tuning in. We have another WAFC Rewind game next week. We'll be rewatching the 2018 Foggy Bottom boys versus Seattle. It was a pool play game. And also it was not a pool play game, says Fred. We'll find out what game it was next week. Tune in to find out.
Probably the finals.
And tomorrow we have a mental game training session where you can learn about mindfulness and getting in the zone and how these players play so well under pressure. So tune in 10 a.m. That'll be live on our YouTube channel as well.